The distress signal, the routine patrol captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Phoenix, watching the endless expanse of stars through the main viewport. The patrol cruiser moved steadily through the Kepler sector, one of the most remote regions of human space. 3 months into their 6-month patrol mission, nothing had happened except routine cargo inspections and the occasional equipment malfunction. Sarah preferred it this way. Quiet sectors meant peaceful systems, and peaceful systems meant families could sleep safely at night. At 42 years old, she had seen enough conflict during the colonial wars to appreciate boring patrol missions. Lieutenant Marcus Webb sat at the communication station, monitoring the standard frequencies that merchant vessels used in this part of space. His headset crackled with the usual chatter about shipping schedules and weather reports from distant mining colonies. Webb had been doing this job for 2 years and knew that most of his work involved listening to complaints about delayed cargo deliveries. Chief Engineer Rosa Martinez worked in the engine room, keeping the Phoenix running smoothly. She had served on this ship for 5 years and knew every system like her own heartbeat. The engines hummed with their familiar rhythm as they pushed the vessel through the darkness between star systems. Dr. James Park reviewed medical supplies. In the ship's infirmary, their mission required them to provide emergency medical assistance to civilian ships, so he kept everything ready for potential casualties. In 3 months, he had treated exactly 4 cases of space sickness and 1 broken arm from a clumsy cargo handler. Commander Alex Thompson monitored the tactical systems from his station. The Phoenix carried enough weapons to handle pirates or raiders, but nothing had threatened this sector in over a year. Thompson spent most of his time running system diagnostics and training exercises with the crew. Everything changed when Webb heard something unusual coming through his headset. The signal was weak and filled with static interference that made it difficult to understand. Webb adjusted his equipment and increased the gain on his receivers. The transmission was definitely not coming from any human ship or station. "Captain, I'm picking up what sounds like a distress signal," Webb reported. "But it's not in any human language I recognize." Sarah walked over to the communications station and listened through Webb's spare headset. The voice was clearly non-human, with tones and inflections that no human throat could produce. More importantly, it was broadcasting on emergency frequencies, used by all spacefaring civilizations. "Can you clean up the signal and run it through the translation software?" Sarah asked. Webb worked quickly to filter out the static and noise. The ship's computer began analyzing the alien language patterns and comparing them to known linguistic structures. After several minutes, a mechanical voice began providing a rough translation of the message. "This is ... uncertainty ... Kayat H. of the research vessel ... untranslatable. Calling any ship that can receive this transmission," the computer voice said. "We require immediate assistance, or our people will. Uncertainty ... Please respond if you can hear us." Sarah felt her pulse quicken. First contact with an unknown alien species was far beyond what a simple patrol mission was supposed to handle. Proper procedure required her to report the signal to fleet headquarters and wait for instructions from specialized contact teams. But the message was clearly a distress call, and fleet regulations also required all ships to render assistance. 2 vessels in emergency situations. "Webb, try to respond to their signal," Sarah ordered. "Let them know we received their message and ask for their location." Webb transmitted a carefully worded response using simple words that the translation software could handle. They waited several tense minutes before receiving a reply. "Human ship, "We are grateful for your response," the translated voice said. "Our vessel is at coordinates ... uncertainty ... approximately 4 light hours from your current position. We have wounded crew members and critical information that must reach the galactic community." Thompson checked the navigation charts and found the coordinates. The location was in empty space, far from any known trade routes or colonies. It was exactly the kind of place where someone might hide if they were running from danger. "Captain, if we push the engines to maximum burn, we can reach those coordinates in about 5 hours, Martinez reported from the engine room. Sarah considered their options. The smart choice would be to contact fleet headquarters and wait for orders. But if the aliens were really in danger, waiting could mean watching innocent beings die while bureaucrats argued about proper procedures. She made the decision that would change everything: the journey into unknown Martinez. "Take us to maximum burn," Sarah commanded. "Thompson, I want all defensive systems ready but not active. We don't want to appear threatening to beings who might already be scared." "All hands, this is the captain," she announced over the ship's communication system. "We are responding to an alien distress call. This is a first contact situation, so everyone needs to be on their best behavior. We represent all of humanity today." The Phoenix changed course and accelerated toward the unknown coordinates. The crew worked with nervous energy as they prepared for something none of them had ever experienced before. Park readied the medical bay for potential alien casualties, while Thompson studied the tactical display for signs of danger. During the 5-hour journey, Webb managed to establish better communication with the alien ship. The beings called themselves Zephyrians, and their vessel was named the Stellar Wind. They had been conducting scientific research when they discovered something terrible. "Human captain, we must warn you," the alien named Kayat H transmitted. "We are being hunted by the Void Hunters, a species that destroys entire civilizations for sport. They have assembled a massive war fleet and are preparing to attack multiple star systems." Sarah felt ice form in her stomach. Any species called Void Hunters sounded like something humanity definitely did not want to encounter. "How many ships are we talking about?" Sarah asked through Webb's translation equipment. "Our instruments detected over 300 vessels of various sizes," Kayat H replied, "including several Dreadnought-class battleships capable of destroying entire planets. They plan to begin their campaign in less than 48 hours. Thompson studied his tactical displays with growing concern. The Phoenix was designed to handle pirates and raiders, not an invasion fleet of hundreds of warships. Even if they contacted fleet headquarters immediately, it would take weeks for human military forces to respond. Kayat H, what star systems are they planning to attack? Sarah asked. The reply made her blood run cold. The Void Hunters had targeted 5 different systems, including 2 human colonies with over 10 million inhabitants each. The attacks would be coordinated to prevent any system from sending help to the others. The rescue mission, the Phoenix, arrived at the coordinates to find a damaged alien vessel drifting in space. The Stellar Wind was roughly the same size as their patrol cruiser, but built with elegant curves and flowing lines that seemed almost organic. Multiple hull breaches showed where the ship had been attacked by energy weapons. Captain, I'm detecting life signs aboard the alien vessel, Park reported from his medical sensors. At least 12 beings, but some of them appear to be injured. Sarah ordered careful docking procedures, while Thompson kept weapons ready in case this was some kind of trap. The 2 ships connected through flexible airlocks, and Park prepared to treat alien casualties. Using whatever medical knowledge he could apply, Kyrith was the first Zephyrian to board the Phoenix. The alien stood about 6 feet tall, with pale blue skin and large silver eyes. 4 arms extended from a slender torso, and the being moved with fluid grace despite obvious exhaustion. "Captain Chen, words cannot express our gratitude for your courage," Kayat H. said through the translation device. "Most species would have reported our signal to their superiors and waited for official authorization to help us." Sarah helped the alien diplomat to the ship's conference room while Park and his medical team treated the wounded Zephyrians. The aliens had suffered plasma burns and radiation exposure during their escape from the Void Hunter scouts. "Tell me everything you know about this invasion fleet," Sarah said once Kayat H. was comfortable. The Zephyrian activated a small device that projected a 3-dimensional star map showing the local galactic region. Red markers appeared at 5 different locations, representing the planned targets of the Void Hunter attacks. "Our research team was studying quantum phenomena in deep space when we accidentally detected the invasion fleet," Kayat H. explained. "They have assembled their forces in the void between star systems where no regular patrols would find them." Sarah studied the tactical situation with growing dread. The 5 target systems included major human colonies, alien trade worlds, and scientific installations with millions of innocent inhabitants. If the Void Hunters attacked simultaneously, the death toll would be beyond imagination. "The attacks will begin in 39 hours, Kayat H. continued. "They plan to strike all targets at once using faster-than-light jumps that will bring their fleets directly to each system's primary worlds. By the time military forces can respond, it will be too late to save anyone." Thompson ran calculations on his tactical computer and shook his head grimly. The nearest human fleet was 2 weeks away, even at maximum speed. Warning messages could be sent to the target systems, but civilian populations could not fight off 300 warships. "Kairoth, does your ship carry any weapons or defensive technology that might help?" Sarah asked. The alien looked surprised by the question. "Captain Chen, surely you cannot be considering a direct confrontation with the Void Hunter fleet. They have overwhelming numerical superiority and weapons designed to destroy planets." Sarah walked around the star map, studying the enemy positions. Every tactical principle she had learned said this was an impossible situation, but sometimes impossible. Situations were the only kind worth fighting. "Sometimes one ship is all you have to work with," she replied. "Tell me what equipment your people have that might be useful in a battle." "The plan takes shape." Kayat H. hesitated, then activated another display showing Zephyrian technology specifications. "We have experimental gravitational field generators that can disrupt faster-than-light travel systems. In theory, the technology could trap enemy fleets in normal space, but we have never tested it as a weapon." Thompson examined the technical data and saw tactical possibilities that the alien scientists had not considered. "Captain, if we could modify this gravitational device and combine it with our weapon systems, we might be able to disable portions of the enemy fleet." A new voice spoke from the conference room entrance. Another Zephyrian with mechanical augmentations on 3 of his 4 arms stepped forward and bowed respectfully to Sarah. "I am Vextar, Chief Engineer of the Stellar Wind," the alien said. "I have been monitoring your conversation and believe I can modify our gravitational technology to work with human weapon systems." Sarah looked at the alien engineer with interest. "What exactly are you proposing, Vextar?" "The gravitational field generator creates distortions that prevent faster-than-light engines from functioning properly," Vextar explained. "If we could amplify the field strength and target it at the center of the Void Hunter fleet formation, we could trap them in normal space and prevent them from escaping or calling for reinforcements. Thompson ran tactical simulations on his computer and nodded slowly. It could work, Captain, but someone would have to deliver the device directly into the middle of the enemy fleet. That would be a suicide mission against 300 warships. Sarah studied the faces of her crew and the alien survivors. Everyone understood what they were discussing. One ship against 300 was not a battle. It was certain death for everyone involved. "Can you send messages to other ships in this area?" Sarah asked Kayat H. "Are there any other vessels that might be willing to help us?" Kerith activated the communication equipment and began broadcasting on emergency frequencies used by all spacefaring species. The message was simple and desperate. "This is Kayat H. of the Zephyrian research vessel Stellar Wind, broadcasting to any ship that can." "Receive this transmission," the alien said. "The Void Hunter fleet is preparing to launch coordinated attacks that will destroy 5 star systems in 39 hours. We are requesting immediate assistance from any vessel willing to help prevent this catastrophe." They waited for responses, while Vexter worked with Martinez to understand how human and Zephyrian technology could be combined. The first reply came from an unexpected source. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the cargo hauler Iron Horse," a weathered human voice said through the radio. "I heard your message about the Void Hunters and want to help. My ship isn't military, but we have some defensive weapons and a crew that knows how to fight." More voices began responding to the emergency broadcast as word spread through local space. Captain Lisa Rodriguez of the survey ship Pathfinder volunteered her vessel along with 2 other civilian ships that had been conducting research in nearby systems. Then something remarkable happened that surprised everyone on the Phoenix. A transmission came through in the musical language of the Melodian traders. "Human vessel, this is Songweaver, Zithera of the merchant fleet Harmony's call," the alien voice chimed. "We have received your warning about the Void Hunter threat. Our people remember the last time they attacked peaceful worlds, and we will not allow it to happen again. 6 of our ships will join your mission." Sarah looked at Thompson, who was tracking the incoming vessels on his sensors. "Captain, we have 8 human ships approaching our position, along with 6 Melodian traders," he reported. "There are also 3 other alien vessels that I cannot identify yet." The unidentified ships revealed themselves as they got closer. 2 vessels appeared that had clearly been built using Void Hunter technology, but were now flying under different identification codes. "Human Captain, this is Commander Sektar, speaking for the Liberation Front," a harsh alien voice said. "We are escaped slaves who stole these ships from our Void Hunter masters. When we heard about their invasion plans, we knew we had to help stop them. We know their weaknesses better than anyone because we used to serve on ships exactly like the ones they are using now." The gathering storm. Sarah stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, surrounded by tactical displays showing their growing fleet. 18 ships total against 300 was still impossible odds. But at least they were not facing the enemy alone anymore. "All ships, this is Captain Chen," she broadcast to the assembled vessels. "We have less than 39 hours to stop the largest invasion force ever assembled by the Void Hunters. I won't lie to you about our chances of survival, but I can promise you that we will save millions of innocent lives if we succeed." She paused and looked around at her crew, who were preparing for the most dangerous mission any of them had ever attempted. "Anyone who wants to leave now can do so with no shame or dishonor," Sarah continued. "But anyone who stays will be part of something that history will remember forever. We are going to show the Void Hunters what happens when they threaten innocent people while humans are watching. None of the ships left. Captain Morrison of the Iron Horse was the first to respond to Sarah's challenge. Captain Chen, my crew, voted and we're staying for the fight, Morrison announced over the radio. The Iron Horse is just a cargo hauler, but we've installed some military-grade weapons and we know how to use them. The other human ships quickly agreed to stay and fight. These were not military vessels with trained soldiers, but civilian ships with crews of merchants, miners, and explorers who had chosen to fight because it was the right thing to do. Songweaver Zathara spoke for the Melodian traders in their musical language that Webb translated through the communication computer. The Songweaver says her people have been preparing for this day since the Void Hunters last attacked Melodian worlds 50 years ago. They want to know if humans are truly as determined in battle as their reputation suggests. Sarah smiled grimly as she replied to the alien merchant. Tell Songweaver Zathara that she is about to find out exactly how determined humans can be when we are protecting innocent people. Commander Sektar of the escaped slaves had the most valuable intelligence about enemy tactics and technology. His 2 stolen Void Hunter ships looked exactly like the vessels they would be fighting, which could provide crucial advantages in the coming battle. Captain Chen, my people know the Void Hunter fleet structure and their standard operating procedures, Sektar explained during a communication conference with all the ship captains. They expect enemies to follow traditional space combat rules with organized battle formations and formal challenges. They do not know how to respond when opponents use unconventional tactics, as their small fleet prepared for the impossible mission ahead. Sarah realized they had one advantage that no enemy could calculate or predict. They had brought together 18 different ships, crewed by beings who had nothing in common except the determination to protect innocent lives. The Void Hunters were about to learn why humans were called Deathworlders, and why the galaxy's peaceful species could become the most dangerous opponents when they decided to fight. The Last Stand, the Impossible Alliance, the makeshift fleet gathered in the shadow of an asteroid field, while engineers from multiple species worked together to prepare for the coming battle. Vexstar and Martinez had made breakthrough progress in combining Zephyrion gravitational technology with human weapon systems, but the modifications required precise timing and coordination between all 18 ships. Sarah stood in the Phoenix's conference room, studying holographic displays that showed the Void Hunter fleet formation. 300 warships arranged in 7 attack groups, each one larger than their entire defensive force. The enemy had planned their invasion with military precision, positioning their forces to strike all 5 target systems simultaneously. Captain Chen, our scouts have confirmed the enemy timeline, Commander Sektar reported through the communication link. The Void Hunter fleet will begin their attack in 14 hours. Once they activate their faster-than-light drives, they will reach the target systems in less than 30 minutes. Kayat H activated another display showing the planned defensive strategy. If we can position our ships correctly and activate the gravitational field generators at the precise moment the enemy begins their jump sequence, we can trap their entire fleet in normal space. Thompson studied the tactical projections with growing concern. The plan requires us to be within the enemy formation when we activate the gravitational fields. That means flying directly into the middle of 300 hostile warships, which is why this mission has one simple rule, Sarah announced to all the ship captains. No one fights alone, and no one gets left behind. We go in together, we fight together, and we come home together. Captain Rodriguez of the Pathfinder raised a concern that everyone was thinking about. Captain Chen, Even if we trap the Void Hunter fleet in normal space, we still have to actually defeat them in battle. 18 ships against 300 is still impossible odds. Songweaver Zathara provided an unexpected answer through her musical translation system. The Melodian fleet carries something the Void Hunters do not expect, the alien merchant said. Our trading ships are equipped with industrial fabrication systems that can rapidly produce additional weapons and defensive equipment during combat. Commander Sektar added his own tactical insight. The Void Hunter commanders are arrogant and overconfident. They expect enemies to be terrified and disorganized when facing their superior numbers. If we can surprise them with coordinated attacks and unconventional tactics, we can create chaos in their formations. Dr. Park had been working with alien medical teams to understand the biology of different species in their fleet. His research had revealed something important about the Void Hunters themselves. Captain, I've been analyzing the medical data that Sektar provided about Void Hunter physiology, Park reported. Their species has enhanced reflexes and aggression, but they have a critical weakness. Their neural systems cannot handle sudden changes in gravitational fields without becoming disoriented. Vextar immediately understood the implications. If we modulate the gravitational field generators to create rapid fluctuations instead of steady disruption, we can affect their crew performance while still preventing faster-than-light travel. Sarah felt the first spark of real hope since they had started planning this mission. They were still outnumbered by overwhelming odds, but they had found ways to level the playing field using science, cooperation, and tactical innovation. The calm before battle with 8 hours remaining until the Void Hunter attack. The mixed fleet moved into position near the enemy staging area. Sarah ordered all ships to maintain communication, silence and minimal power signatures to avoid detection by enemy scouts. The Phoenix drifted alongside the stellar wind while final preparations were completed. Human and Zephyrian engineers worked side by side to calibrate the gravitational field generators. Melodian fabrication systems produced additional ammunition and defensive equipment for the entire fleet. Webb monitored enemy communications using equipment borrowed from Sektar's stolen Void Hunter ships. The intercepted transmissions revealed the invasion timeline and confirmed that the enemy had no idea they were being watched. Captain, the Void Hunter fleet is beginning final preparations for their attack, Webb reported quietly. They're powering up their faster-than-light drives and moving into jump formation. Thompson tracked enemy movements on his tactical display. The 7 attack groups had arranged themselves in a complex formation that would allow them to jump to different target systems simultaneously. It was exactly the positioning they needed for their gravitational field trap to work. All ships, this is Captain Chen, Sarah broadcast on the encrypted communication channel. Enemy fleet is moving into position. Begin approach to intercept. Coordinates. Remember, we only get one chance at this. The 18 ships of their defensive fleet began moving toward the Void Hunter formation using the asteroid field for concealment. Each vessel followed a carefully planned approach route that would bring them into position without being detected by enemy sensors. Martinez pushed the Phoenix's engines to maximum stealth power while maintaining formation with their allies. The mixed fleet moved like a pack of predators, stalking prey that outnumbered them 15-1. Captain, we are approaching the outer edge of the enemy formation, Thompson reported. I count 297 active warships arranged in 7 groups. The largest group contains 48 vessels, including 3 Dreadnought-class battleships. Sarah felt her heart hammering as they flew directly into the middle of the most powerful military force she had ever seen. Void Hunter warships surrounded them on all sides, their hulls bristling with weapons designed to destroy entire planets. "All ships, prepare for gravitational field activation," Vexstar announced over the communication channel. "We need perfect synchronization or the plan will fail." The trap springs the moment came when Void Hunter fleet commanders gave the order to begin their coordinated attack on 5 star systems. Faster-than-light drives throughout their formation began charging for simultaneous jumps that would bring death and destruction to millions of innocent beings. "Now," Sarah commanded. 18 gravitational field generators activated simultaneously, creating overlapping zones of spatial distortion that prevented faster-than-light travel. The Void Hunter fleet found themselves trapped in normal space just as they attempted to begin their invasion, but the gravitational fields did more than prevent escape. Following Park's biological research and Vexstar's engineering modifications, the fields fluctuated rapidly to create disorientation effects among enemy crews. Void Hunter warships that had been moving in perfect formation suddenly found their navigation systems confused and their crews struggling with spatial vertigo. The precise military formation dissolved into chaos as ships collided with each other or drifted out of position. "Gravitational trap is successful," Kayat H announced. "Enemy fleet is unable to jump to faster-than-light speed. All ships, commence attack." Sarah ordered, "Remember the plan. Hit them hard, hit them fast, and keep moving." The Phoenix opened fire with every weapon system, targeting the command ship of the nearest Void Hunter group. Human missile technology combined with Zephyrian energy beams to create devastating attacks that punched through enemy shields. The Iron Horse and other human cargo ships revealed the military-grade weapons they had been concealing. These vessels had been designed to fight pirates and raiders, but their crews had modified them into formidable combat platforms. Melodian trading ships deployed weapons that defied traditional concepts of space combat. Instead of conventional energy beams or projectiles, they used sonic resonance weapons that could shatter enemy hulls by matching their structural frequencies. Commander Sector S stolen Void Hunter ships caused massive confusion among the enemy ranks. When friendly-looking vessels suddenly opened fire from within their own formations, Void Hunter commanders could not understand what was happening. "Enemy fleet is in complete disarray," Thompson reported as he watched the tactical display. "They're firing on each other because they can't identify which ships are hostile." The tide turns. What had started as an impossible battle began to shift in favor of the defenders. The combination of gravitational field effects, surprise attacks, and tactical confusion had transformed the organized Void Hunter invasion force into a chaotic swarm of disoriented warships. Sarah coordinated the battle from the Phoenix's bridge while her crew worked with deadly precision. Webb managed communications between 18 different ships speaking multiple languages. Martinez kept the engines running at maximum power despite battle damage. Park treated wounded crew members from multiple species. Captain Rodriguez to all ships, the Pathfinder's captain announced, "I've identified a weak point in the enemy formation. If we concentrate our attacks on the command dreadnought in the center group, we can disrupt their ability to coordinate a counterattack." Songweaver Zithara confirms target priority. The Melodian trader added in her musical voice, "My ships will provide covering fire while human vessels make the main attack run." The combined fleet moved with coordination that amazed Sarah. Beings from different worlds who had never worked together before were fighting as a unified force against overwhelming odds. The Phoenix led the attack on the enemy command dreadnought, a massive vessel that dwarfed their patrol cruiser. But human ingenuity and determination proved more powerful than superior size and firepower. "Thompson, target their command bridge with everything we have," Sarah ordered. "Martinez, ramming speed." "Captain, ramming a dreadnought will destroy our ship," Thompson protested. "Not if we do it right," Sarah replied with a fierce smile. "Trust me on this one." The Phoenix accelerated directly toward the enemy dreadnought while firing all weapons. At the last possible moment, Martinez used a complex engine burn that sent them sliding along the enemy ship's hull instead of colliding head-on. Human weapons fired at point blank range tore through the dreadnought's armor plating and caused catastrophic damage to their command systems. The massive enemy ship lost power and began drifting helplessly as its crew struggled with the gravitational field effects. "Direct hit on enemy command vessel," Kayat H announced. "Their coordination network is failing across the entire fleet." Victory? Against all odds, with their command structure disrupted and their faster-than-light drives disabled, the Void Hunter fleet began to collapse. Individual ships tried to fight back, but they could not coordinate their attacks against the fast-moving defensive force. Captain Morrison of the Iron Horse led a group of cargo haulers in an attack that would have been suicidal against organized opposition, but the enemy ships they targeted were confused and disoriented, making them easy prey for determined human crews. The Melodian traders used their industrial fabrication systems to replace damaged weapons and create new ammunition. During the battle, what should have been a limitation of their civilian ships became a tactical advantage that kept them fighting. When military vessels would have been forced to withdraw, Commander Sektar's knowledge of Void Hunter weaknesses allowed the defenders to target critical systems with surgical precision. Instead of trying to destroy heavily armored warships, they focused on disabling engines, weapons, and life support systems. "Enemy fleet is requesting terms of surrender," Webb announced with amazement in his voice. "They want to negotiate a ceasefire." Sarah looked around at her bridge crew, all of whom were staring at her with the same shocked expression. In less than 4 hours, 18 ships from multiple species had defeated an invasion force of 300 warships. "Tell them we accept their surrender on one condition," Sarah replied. "They provide complete intelligence about any other Void Hunter fleets and agree to never again attack peaceful worlds." The surrender was accepted immediately. Void Hunter commanders who had expected easy victories against terrified civilians had instead faced the combined determination of species who refused to let innocent people die. The new alliance, 3 days after the battle, Admiral Jong arrived with a human fleet to secure the surrendered Void Hunter ships. Sarah stood on the Phoenix's bridge, reading reports about the 5-star systems that would have been destroyed if the invasion had succeeded. "Captain Chen," Admiral Zhong said during their communication conference, "what you accomplished here will be studied in military academies for generations. 18 civilian ships defeated a force that our best strategists said was unstoppable." Kayat H had been working with human diplomats to establish formal relations between their species. The Zephyrians possessed advanced scientific knowledge that would benefit humanity, while humans had proven they could be trusted to help others even at great personal risk. "Captain Chen, the Galactic Council has voted to offer humanity full membership and a seat on the ruling assembly," Kayat H announced. "Your actions have shown that humans can be valuable allies in protecting peaceful civilizations." Songweaver, Zathara had similar news from the Melodian Trade Federation. Human merchants will be welcome in all Melodian markets with full trading privileges. Your people have earned our respect and friendship. Even Commander Sektar's Liberation Front wanted to work with humanity. Captain Chen, former slaves throughout the galaxy, have heard about your victory over the Void Hunters. Many want to settle in human space where they know they will be protected. Sarah realized that their desperate mission to stop an invasion had accomplished something far greater than military victory. They had brought together different species in common cause and proven that cooperation could overcome any challenge. Webb, send a message to Fleet Headquarters, Sarah ordered. Tell them that the Phoenix is ready for our next patrol mission. But I have a feeling that our next assignment will be more interesting than watching cargo ships and checking shipping. Manifests. As the Phoenix prepared to depart for human space, Sarah looked out at the stars and smiled. The galaxy was full of dangers and challenges, but it was also full of potential allies who shared humanity's determination to protect innocent life. The Void Hunters had learned why humans were called Deathworlders. More importantly, the peaceful species of the galaxy had learned that humans would stand with them against any threat, no matter how impossible the odds might seem. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun.